The intergalactic Colosseum shimmered like a jewel suspended in the void. Orbiting a dying star at the center of the Milky Way, it was a meeting ground of empires and a stage for the galaxy's most elite champions. Races from across the stars had gathered, crowding into observation decks shaped like petals of a titanic metal flower. The air buzzed with expectation, not for a fair contest, but for the punchline of a cosmic joke, Earth's debut. The humans arrived last, their ship modest, almost embarrassed to dock beside leviathans of advanced design. They emerged with stiff posture and forced smiles, a patchwork delegation of athletes, scientists, and diplomats who looked more like school teachers on a field trip than contenders in the most elite skill gauntlet ever conceived. Chancellor Velk, a crystalline being of the Arctar Dominion, welcomed them with a voice like chiming glass. "Ith," he said, drawing out the syllable as if tasting it. "We are honored by your presence." Laughter rippled quietly through the council chamber behind him. The translators failed to filter the mockery in his tone. Representative Collins, a lanky former Olympian turned ambassador, forced a smile. "We're honored to be here." In the arena, the preliminary events began. Earth's chess master was dismantled in 5 moves by a sentient fog from Zalari Prime. Their physicist, once hailed as a genius back home, failed to comprehend a quantum riddle answered in milliseconds by a silicon-based hive mind. Even Earth's strongest athlete, a man who could bench press small vehicles, barely lasted 10 seconds against a four-armed titan in the strength trials. Each failure chipped away at the fragile veneer of pride the human delegation had brought. Commentators across the galaxy labeled Earth's presence a comedic interlude. Memes spread like starlight. Primitive Planet Plays Pretend trended on 3-star networks. Backstage, the Earth team huddled in the shadows of their humiliation. "They're laughing at us," whispered Dr. Wren, her voice small but shaking with anger. "They were always going to laugh," muttered Collins. "We were never meant to win anything. We were invited to be mocked." "Then why did we come?" asked Marcus Shin, a tactical analyst with dark eyes and sharper thoughts. Silence followed. No one answered. They all knew the truth. Earth had accepted the invitation because it couldn't afford not to. This was politics, visibility, relevance. And now, it was a disaster. Back in Earth orbit, hidden in the shadows of a moon, another ship listened. Inside, a man sat in stillness, watching the events unfold through a silent stream of data. He wore black from neck to toe, his face obscured by a porcelain-white mask shaped like a fox. No insignias, no name. A whisper came from the shadows. "They are failing." As predicted, the masked man nodded once. "So it begins." On the final day of the preliminaries, Earth's delegation faced elimination. Only one path remained open: the arena trials, a brutal series of challenges meant for solo champions. No human had registered for it. Colin stared at the sign-up display. "We can't send anyone else. No one would survive it." "We might not have to," said Marcus, quietly. "There's someone." He tapped into a private channel and uploaded a profile encrypted under 10 layers of clearance. A silhouette. No name. No record. Just a code name. Shinobi. "Are you serious?" Collins's face paled. "That project was shut down." "It wasn't. Just buried." Marcus leaned in. "We never needed a warrior until now." The team debated in hushed, fearful tones. Some protested. Others pleaded. In the end, desperation overruled hesitation. The request was sent. That night, no one saw the ship arrive. It didn't dock. It landed. Silent. Precise. A shadow falling over a moonless plain. By morning, Earth had a contestant. He entered the arena without announcement, a phantom among gods and monsters. No one recognized him. The council thought it a joke taken too far. A stunt, perhaps. A man in black robes, no armor, no visible tech, no translator implant, facing the universe's fiercest champions with nothing but a sheathed sword and unshakable poise. The laughter was louder this time. A few aliens clapped sarcastically. One delegate recorded a holo and captioned it. Earth finally snapped. Sent their theater club. But the masked man neither flinched nor bowed. Instead, he stood at the center of the arena, eyes hidden, body motionless. He didn't speak, didn't wave. He simply waited. Collins watched from the sidelines, heart pounding. What do we even call him? Dr. Wren asked. Marcus answered, his voice reverent. Ninja. No one laughed after that. Not because they understood, but because something in the way the word was said made them pause. The trials would begin tomorrow. Tonight, across the stars. Beings slept with laughter still on their lips. But those closest to the arena, those with instincts honed by centuries of survival, felt something shift. The air was heavier, as if the story had finally stopped being funny. The arena transformed overnight. The laughter from the crowds had faded into a taut, electric anticipation. Lights dimmed. Platforms rose. A voice boomed in a language instantly translated across thousands of species. The arena trials commence. Contestants emerged one by one. Hulking beasts, armored juggernauts, beings made of pure energy or thought. They were champions from worlds that had conquered death, warped gravity, bent time. Each moved with confidence, fed by centuries of dominance. Then, the ninja appeared, silent as a sigh. He walked calmly to the starting platform, robes swaying with each step like ink drifting in water. His face remained hidden behind the mask. No name appeared on the display screens. Just the word, Earth. The crowd rippled with murmurs. Some chuckled, but it was softer now, uneasy. The first trial began, the Trial of Shadows. A simulated alien city emerged from the arena floor, towering spires and glowing alleys flickering into existence. The objective was simple: retrieve a data core hidden at the city center without being detected by the sentries, autonomous drones programmed with adaptive AI and sensory spectrums far beyond human range. Other contestants burst into motion, smashing walls, disabling sentries, leaping rooftop to rooftop. The ninja remained still. From the control chamber, Chancellor Velk watched, amused. The human hasn't moved. He doesn't intend to, another delegate replied. Primitive stealth won't work here. But then the sentries began to fail. One by one, they shut down without alert. No sounds, no combat. The ninja wasn't running. He was disappearing, moving between shadows, under ledges, inside blind spots. He didn't disturb the environment. He became part of it. Even the arena's omniscient cameras struggled to track him. Technicians adjusted angles, recalibrated sensors. Where did he go? Someone asked. 5 minutes later, the data core floated silently into the air and landed at the extraction point. No one had seen how he got there. The ninja reappeared exactly where he started, kneeling, his hands resting on his knees. He had completed the trial without drawing a single line of attention. The other contestant was still struggling when the judges announced completion. The crowd didn't cheer. They just stared. The second trial began within the hour. Trial of combat. The chosen opponent was Kravux, a gladiator bred for war. Skin like molten stone, 6 arms bearing weapons forged in neutron stars. He towered over the ninja, grinning with rows of bone-crushing teeth. Let's see what you bleed, Earth thing, Kravix snarled. The announcer hesitated before giving the signal. Kravix lunged. The ninja didn't move. Not until the last second. Then, he vanished. Not with technology. Not with teleportation. With movement. A blur. A whisper of a pivot. Kravix's blade struck nothing but air. The next moments happened too fast for many to comprehend. Metal clashed, but only once. A flick of silver glinted from beneath the robe. Then silence. Kravix turned to face him again, only to find his weapons cut, not at the blade, but the hilt. Each severed without touching his body. Clean, deliberate strikes. The crowd gasped. Kravix charged again, this time roaring, flailing, determined to crush. The ninja ducked, rolled, drew his blade just once, and tapped Kravix at the shoulder, then at the chest. Nothing dramatic. No deep cuts. The gladiator stopped. Slowly, his knees buckled. His body seized. Then, he fell. Not broken, but defeated. Sensors revealed microfractures in his armor. Pressure point strikes across his nervous system. No blood had been spilled. Yet the effect was total. Victory was declared. Somewhere above, Collins stood gripping the edge of the observation window, eyes wide. "What did we send?" he whispered. Marcus didn't answer. He was too busy watching the other council members, no longer amused. Now, they looked uncertain, curious, maybe even afraid. The third trial arrived, trial of perception. The arena dissolved into an endless void, stars spinning in impossible patterns. Illusions flooded the senses, mirrors of enemies, hallucinations of betrayal, whispers of doubt. The mind became the battlefield. Most contestants faltered. Some collapsed. A few attacked their own shadows. The ninja Saturday. He neither moved nor reacted to the illusions. They clawed at him with voices, old regrets, failures, violence. But he remained centered, his breath steady, pulse calm. Cameras tried to capture what he was seeing. There was nothing. His mind was unreadable. Minutes passed, then more. When the illusion failed to provoke a single twitch, it finally crumbled. Trial complete. The final challenge was the most feared trial of truth. A being emerged from the core of the arena. Tall, ethereal, cloaked in translucent robes that shifted with emotion. It did not speak. It simply unveiled. To each contestant, it revealed their true self. Some screamed. Others denied what they saw. A few fled. When the ninja stepped forward, the being paused. It hesitated. Then it showed him what lay within. He saw himself, young, surrounded by ash. The death he dealt, the silence he kept. His mentors, fallen. His code, intact. He watched without flinching, without pride, without shame. He bowed once. The entity said nothing. It only stepped aside. For the first time in recorded games history, all trials had been completed perfectly. The arena fell silent. Then a single sound broke through, an unsure clap, hesitant. Then another. Then hundreds. The wave of awe spread like light breaking over a dark planet. Earth had not just proven worthy. It had made the stars stop laughing. And yet, the ninja didn't wait for praise. He turned, his back to the crowd, and walked off the arena floor before the applause even reached its peak. Somewhere far above, Chancellor Velk leaned forward, his crystalline fingers steepled. "Perhaps," he murmured, "we underestimated Earth." Markishin allowed himself a smile, not of triumph, but of something more dangerous. Momentum. And this was only the beginning. The aftermath of the trials rippled through the galaxy like a solar flare, scorching old assumptions. In the days that followed, news streams across hundreds of systems repeated a single headline in endless dialects: Earth triumphs. Footage of the masked warriors' silent victories played on loop, dissected by analysts, mimicked by children, and whispered about in the chambers of the powerful. Earth's delegation moved through the council halls now without sneers chasing their heels. They were no longer curiosities. They were symbols of something elusive, something many species had forgotten: mystery. Yet even in glory, the delegation remained unsettled. Collins stood before a council of newly curious allies, fielding questions he couldn't fully answer. "What is his origin?" asked a diplomat with skin like mercury. "Why did he not speak?" inquired another. "Was it a ritual? A sign of protest?" Collins hesitated. "It's not something I can explain. He doesn't represent a nation. He represents a principle. A weaponized principle," one voice said, laced with suspicion. No, Collins's voice grew firm. "A disciplined one." Not everyone was convinced. The Chancellor of Cytherian issued a public concern. If Earth hid this from the Council, what else are they hiding? Have he invited a predator into the garden? The debate churned, but the ninja was nowhere to be found. After the trials, he had vanished, as if absorbed back into the void. Not even Earth's delegation could locate him. Their last message had been brief, a flicker of text encoded in an obsolete format. Purpose fulfilled. Signal only if silence becomes dangerous. Back on Earth, everything changed. Public interest in the ninja reached fever pitch. Was he military, myth, governmental creation, or rogue guardian? No agency claimed him. No one could. What emerged instead was a cultural revival. Martial arts schools overflowed. Ancient philosophies re-entered public discourse. Children asked for wooden swords instead of tablets. Humanity had discovered not just a new hero, but an old identity. Shin stood in the command center of Earth's orbital embassy, watching the galactic broadcasts. Every now and then, a new offer came in. Will your warrior train with us? Can we send students to Earth? Is there more than one? He didn't answer any of them. He didn't win it for Earth, Marcus muttered to himself. He won it for the idea of Earth. One night, in a secluded dojo buried beneath Kyoto's oldest district, a girl no older than 12 stood barefoot before an empty mat. Her sensei gave her a wooden blade and whispered only, "He walked this path before you. Now, you walk it for yourself." Across the galaxy, alien empires began quietly reviewing old assumptions. What else had they ignored? What other primitive species held forgotten power? A new respect, laced with caution, entered diplomatic corridors. The Galactic Council convened a special session. Chancellor Velk stood before representatives of 1,000 civilizations. "Let the records show," he announced, "that the game shall be revised. Skill, as we now understand it, is not bound to science or spectacle. It lives also in silence, in breath, in legacy." The chamber was still. Then, in an unprecedented vote, the council agreed. Future competitions would include not only champions of physical or technological prowess, but also those whose strength came from ancient knowledge, personal mastery, and discipline beyond measure. Earth was no longer a footnote. It had become precedent. And yet, somewhere far beyond the reach of cameras and councils, the ninja watched none of it. He sat at the edge of a cliff, high above a frozen valley on a world no map recorded. Snow fell softly onto his shoulders. His blade rested in the earth beside him, untouched. He did not meditate, nor sleep. He simply existed. A whisper rode the wind. Not a voice but a presence. "You showed them." He did not answer. Another breeze passed. "You could return. Take your place." Still, no response. Instead, he rose, bowed once toward the horizon, and walked deeper into the white wilderness, footprints quickly swallowed by snowfall. Back in the council archives, a clerk noted a new entry under Earth's official file. Combat designation, Shinobi. Status, unknown. Threat level, variable. Cultural impact, significant. Observation required. But no observation could follow him now. His legend moved faster than the satellites, deeper than scans. It spread by campfire and starlight. A whisper passed among border worlds and core colonies alike. A blade needs no noise to cut. And somewhere, out there in the dark, the silence waited. It began with a silence that wasn't supposed to last. A month after the games, 2 scout ships from the Von Dominion disappeared near the Bleeding Edge, a lawless region on the far rim of the galaxy. No distress signals. No debris. Just gone. 3 days later, a listening post on the mining moon of their axis reported a brief, encrypted pulse. The signal contained coordinates and a single word, untranslate. Before analysts could trace it, the outpost went dark. At first, the council dismissed it. Rogue pirates, technical faults. But then it happened again, and again. Whole vessels vanished. Surveillance buoys flickered and died. Merchant routes through the edge grew cold. Whispers rose in the dark places of an old enemy returned, cloaked in something new. Back on Earth, Marcus Shin read the reports in grim silence. His office had grown since the games, filled now with diplomats and intelligence briefings. But beneath the surface, he remained unchanged. Analytical, cautious, suspicious of anything that came too quickly, especially respect. "This isn't random," he said, fingers tapping out a rhythm of thought. "It's too precise. Who would strike this far out?" Dr. Wren asked from across the table. "The Council just stabilized trade with the Outer Rim. An attack makes no sense. Unless it's not war they are after." Marcus turned the display. "Maybe it's a message." The holo shifted to a grainy, reconstructed feed, a frame-by-frame replay of a dark corridor aboard one of the vanished vessels. For less than 2 seconds, a figure flickered through the feed. Humanoid. Hooded. Carrying something long and curved on its back. They froze. "It can't be him," Ren said quietly. No insignia, Marcus replied. No symbol, no flag, just a sword. The council convened a classified emergency session. Earth was summoned not as an observer, but as a stakeholder. Velk addressed the chamber with uncharacteristic severity. We believe the games revealed the limits of Earth's influence, but we may have instead awakened something that was meant to sleep. Marcus stood. You're suggesting the ninja, our champion, is responsible for these attacks. A pause. Then, we are suggesting he may no longer act with Earth's interests in mind. No one controls him, Marcus said. Not even us. That doesn't make him a threat. That makes him independent. The room bristled. Independence, said a senator from Goruvai, is just a word for a weapon that's walked off the leash. Later, in private, Marcus reviewed the original signal again. The untranslated word, rendered in broken phonetics, looked familiar. Not alien. Human. A dialect older than most Earth languages, preserved only in oral tradition. Japanese. He called in a linguistic AI. After hours of processing, it provided a single result. Kagamori. Shadowborn. That night, in a hidden chamber beneath the Earth Embassy, Marcus activated a secure channel. It hadn't been touched since the games. He waited. The screen stayed dark for 5 full minutes. Then, a response. Not video, not voice, just words. The edge bleeds because something sharp has entered it. You know me. You know I do not move without reason. But something is coming. Older than empires. It does not speak. It devours. I act not for Earth. I act for silence. Marcus stayed at the message, heart tightening. He didn't respond. There was no point. When the ninja wanted him to know more, he would. Across the stars, fleets began to mobilize. Patrols doubled. Trade froze. Fear crept in like frost across the skin of the galaxy. In the bleeding edge, a station called Virel's Fall received a visitor. No one saw him enter. The guards were unconscious, not dead. The lights were untouched. The door logs erased themselves. Inside, an alien scientist quivered behind a lab table. You're supposed to be a story, he hissed. The ninja tilted his head. No one's supposed to know about the deep vault, the scientist continued, desperation flooding his voice. You don't understand what's in there. You're not strong enough to stop it. The masked figure said nothing. He stepped forward and raised 2 fingers. The scientist dropped to his knees, weeping. Outside, the stars shimmered, but one of them flickered with unnatural rhythm. A black star, pulsing not with heat, but with hunger. In time, the council would learn what slept in the bleeding edge, and they would remember Earth not as a joke, nor a miracle, but as the first to warn them. But for now, all they had was a rumor, that in the shadow of oblivion, a silent warrior walked ahead of the fire, not to defeat it, but to delay it. And for the first time in eons, the galaxy understood what fear actually looked like. Not a fleet, not a monster, but a man in a mask who never spoke and never needed to.